Imagine this. It's a cold, foggy night in Beijing. The last bus of the evening is making its final run. It's a trip that should be totally routine, right? But for this particular bus, it becomes the start of one of China's most enduring and, well, frankly, terrifying urban legends. So let's get right into the chilling mystery of bus route 375.
So our story actually starts at the end, which is kind of weird, right? 2 days after it just vanished, Beijing's Route 375 bus was found. But get this, finding the bus didn't close the case. Nope, it basically blew the doors wide open on a paranormal investigation that, to this day, just defies all logical explanation.
And right away, we hit the first massive impossibility. The bus was found submerged in a reservoir over 100 kilometers from where it was supposed to be. I mean, think about that for a second. How on earth does a city bus on a set route end up that far away without a single person noticing? It just doesn't make sense.
Okay, so inside this sunken bus, what do they find? 3 bodies. And not just any bodies. They were severely decomposed. Now, that number, 3, is a mystery all by itself. Why? Because we know for a fact there were more people on that bus when it disappeared. So where are the others?
But, believe it or not, that's not even the most horrifying detail. Not even close. When investigators went to check the fuel tank, well, they found it was completely empty of gasoline. Instead, it was filled to the brim with fresh blood. Yeah, blood. So you're probably asking, how did this bus end up in a reservoir, miles of course, with a tank full of blood? To even begin to understand that, we have to go back in time.
So let's rewind the clock. We're going back 2 days to the night this bus started its final journey, a journey that would go down in legend.
Okay, so let me set the scene. It's a late, cold November night. Bus 375 is making its very last run of the evening, heading from the Yuan terminal to Fragrant Hills. The fog is super thick, the roads are pretty much empty. You know, the stage is perfectly set for something strange. Inside, the bus is nearly empty. There are just a handful of people left. You've got the driver, a female ticket conductor, an elderly woman, and a young man. It's quiet, kind of isolated, which is a huge contrast to the strangeness that's about to step on board. Okay, and this is the moment the whole journey just completely veers off course. They're in the middle of this desolate stretch of road, miles from any real bus stop, and suddenly, the driver just slams on the brakes. And what does he see? Standing on the side of the road are 3 figures, just silently waving the bus down. Now, the conductor is protesting, right? This isn't an official stop, but the driver lets them on anyway. And that single decision, well, it pretty much sealed everyone's fate. So according to the people who actually survived this night, these 3 new passengers were, well, they were off. Something was just not right. First, they were dressed in these traditional robes from the Qing Dynasty. We're talking centuries out of date. 2 of them were holding up a third guy between them, and his head was hung so low you couldn't see his face at all. It was just completely covered by his hair. Super creepy. So the bus pulls away and keeps driving into the fog. But that old woman, she starts getting really, really agitated. She's been watching these strange new passengers, and she just knows something is deeply wrong. Her gut is telling her to get out. So she decides to do something, well, something pretty drastic. All of a sudden, she just leaps up and starts accusing the young man sitting near her of stealing her purse. She's screaming, she's hitting him. I mean, she creates this massive scene. The driver, he's just annoyed, he wants to finish his shift, so he pulls the bus over and literally kicks both of them off right into the cold, foggy night. So now the young guy is furious, right? He's confused, he's stranded in the middle of nowhere. He turns to her and demands to know why she did that. And the old woman, who is suddenly perfectly calm, just watches the bus's taillights disappear into the fog and says to him, "I didn't cause you trouble. I saved your life." And then she tells him why. She explains that as those 3 figures got on the bus, a gust of wind blew through the open doors. It lifted the hems of their robes just enough, and in that one moment, she saw it. They had no legs, no feet. They were just floating, not walking. They weren't human. So of course, the 2 of them are survivors. They immediately report what they saw to the police.
And their absolutely terrifying story connects directly back to that grim discovery we started with. And what we're left with is a set of chilling and maybe unanswerable questions.
As you can guess, the bus never made it to its destination. The driver and conductor were reported missing. But at first, the police just dismissed the wild story from the old woman and the young man. I mean, wouldn't you? It sounded like complete nonsense. That is, until 2 days later, when that bus turned up in the reservoir. Then they started taking it very seriously.
So this brings us back to the first impossible question. How does a bus with an empty gas tank travel over 100 kilometers? It's just not possible. Unless, of course, it was running on a different kind of fuel. And that blood in the tank, well, it suggests a truly terrifying alternative. Then you've got the state of the bodies. Remember, they found the driver, the conductor, and one of those robed figures. But the forensic analysis was just bizarre. It showed their bodies had decomposed as if they'd been dead for weeks, not just 48 hours in cold water. It's a straight-up biological impossibility. And the tech side of things, just as strange. The security cameras tracked the bus perfectly along its route, right up until the exact spot where our 2 survivors got kicked off. And after that, nothing. The bus just vanishes from every single camera. It's like it literally drove off the face of the earth. And this might be the biggest question of all. Let's do the math, right? 3 strange figures get on the bus. The 2 survivors get off. That should leave the driver, the conductor, and the 3 figures. But remember, they only found the body of one of the robed figures in the bus. So, where did the other 2 go? Decades have passed, and none of these questions have real answers. The official records were sealed, and the story has just woven itself into the fabric of Beijing folklore. So, I'll leave you with one last chilling thought. If you ever find yourself on a lonely Beijing road late at night, and you see the headlights of Bus 375 coming your way, are you really sure you want to get on?